Okay, so we're live. Let's play some music. All right, welcome everyone to a new episode of our leadership series. We are in our ending episodes. We are about to wrap the season, and I'm so honored to have with me today Lucia Stanislas, connecting from Atlanta, Georgia. You're gonna share your journey.
Yes,
I'm so happy. Let's get started with your beautiful journey from Angola all the way to Atlanta. Double A's. That's how we
yes,
said it.
yes, yes. Dr. Hynd, thank you so much for having me in your beautiful show. I've been watching some of the episodes and I was just so excited to join.
Me too.
My journey really started in Angola. I was born a long time ago in Angola.
Let's skip the
It-
details.
Yes, I want. I would not that I would mind, but I started there. I don't know if your audience knows a lot about Angola, but Angola is a
Tell us a
country
bit.
in
Please tell us.
Southwest Africa. Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
In Southwest Africa, and as many countries in Africa, we went through a colonization period that lasted 400 years, and we got independence in 1975. We just celebrated 50 years of independence last month. So we're still celebrating in Angola. And right after the
We
independence,
celebrated this year in Morocco as well.
oh,
Interesting.
wow, amazing, amazing. That's awesome. That's very awesome.
Mhm.
So after the independence, unfortunately, Angola went through civil war for about 27 years. And
Wow.
so because of that climate, me being born in such a climate, I started my journey as a social entrepreneur at a very young age. In the 90s, early 90s. At that point, a lot of people came from the cities, the small towns and villages to the capital. I grew up in the capital. And, my heart just felt compelled to help children, victims of war. I would go to school and I would see them just there, sleeping outside with no food and things like that. And at that point I just spoke to my mom. I said, can I just at least bring breakfast to them? And she said yes. And so I started my journey just by offering breakfast to children, street kids, victims by war. And that's how I started as an activist for HIV/AIDS. Years later, starting a radio show, supporting orphanages in Angola. And then I left for school, for higher education, late nine, nine, 90s, right? 1999. I came to the US for school. I attended school. I studied computer information systems. I was a double major, and then I studied also liberal studies with concentrations in organizational communications and liberal philosophical studies. So then, uh, after my academic, during actually it was during being in the United States here in Atlanta. right? In a capitalistic society, I decided to become an entrepreneur. Actually,
Mm.
now to make money because I was an entrepreneur for purpose back home, solving societal problems. But I needed to add one more layer because we can't really solve societal problems if we don't know how to make money.
Yes.
As an entrepreneur, I still, I was doing a lot of research how I would position myself in the marketplace and also in the development sphere, like the impact sphere. And I was just there doing a lot of things. Learned a lot here in the States. And in 2013, I decided to go home to give back. So I
Wow.
started establishing businesses and myself as a consultant in the oil and gas industry in
Mm.
2013. I stayed there, a lot of back and forth between Angola and the States for many years, and I'm still there, right, remotely. Now more remotely than before because I became a mother in 2018, and after
Mhm.
the pandemic, made it a little harder for me to do a lot of traveling. So
Yes.
I'm in both markets on the impact sphere and also income business sphere. And now with G100, more like the global influence perspective.
I love that. And I'm so excited. And you are part of the book also. We didn't do the announcement yet, but so it's exciting time. And your journey is fascinating. And I think you're such a role model to so many because what I think amazing about you is the fact that you left and you came back and you're coming back and you're bridging between the two words. And so how what are can you tell us what has been, the most like challenging part of, this journey of, recreating yourself in the US and then now being able to connect with both? What stands out for you?
Mm. As an African woman, I always say I'm an Afropolitan, right? As an African woman with so much influence from the West,
Mm,
that can become a challenge because I find myself in both worlds. And, usually the expectation, from the cultural perspective is either
mm.
you're here or you're there. But I
Yes,
said,
exactly.
I'm both,
Mm,
I, you
mm.
know, and my husband is not from Angola, so I'm always trying to find that in between world to make sense and still stay connected to my roots, stay
Mm.
connected to my people, and stay connected to my mission. All right. I
Mm.
always say my people is my mission and my
Wow.
nation is my vision. That's where I want to go
And
and
let's
create.
repeat that. This is so powerful. This is so powerful. So, like, you stay connected with your roots, your people, as you saying it so beautifully. So, how do you say it? Your mission, your nation is
My
your vision.
my yeah, my nation is my vision and my
Wow.
people is my mission.
Wow. I love that. My nation
That's
is
it.
my vision and my people. I love that. My
And
nation.
as entrepreneur, right, we always have to have a clear vision of where we want to go as we
Yes.
build businesses, right?
Absolutely.
As a
Absolutely.
social entrepreneur, I have to have, incorporated my societal mission to the entrepreneurial vision.
Exactly.
And then I have all these values that really are non-negotiable, right?
Mm-hmm.
But becomes a challenge when I have to negotiate,
Mm.
impact, unity,
Yes.
culture, roots, and everything. So that has been a challenge all throughout my journey. Just living in those two worlds, and like you said, bridging them together to make sense for the collective.
Yes, bridging them together. And I love that. So, what is the particularity? I mean, you always insist on saying social entrepreneur. Why do you always want to add the social? Is it more like an association, an ONG work, like there is no revenue? What is this, or is it because of the impact?
Yes, it's actually both. Because
Mhm.
when I started, I was only 14 years old,
Oh,
helping
really?
kids.
That
I
young?
was, yes, I was very
I didn't
young.
realize.
That's why I had to ask my mom, can I, just bring break? Because I was a minor. I was trying to
Yeah.
help, but I was very young. And so, we lived in the capital, and I could only get so much from my mom's kitchen to help
Mm,
kids. And so I began to find ways to make money so that I can
mm,
support the project. So
mm,
we made little sweet things, right, and we sold it in the market so that we could help the kids. Another
mm.
thing that I did, I just put like water in the freezer,
Yes.
because a lot of people used to pass by asking for ice, right, to
Yes.
sell drinks in the open market in Africa. So I
Mm.
just decided to just sell ice. That was
Excellent. I love that. So you
just
really
about ice, yes.
you started with the basics.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, yes, yes. So that's why I always say, with my entrepreneurial mindset, I am able to contribute and solve societal problems. So
Big
it's
time.
really,
Your
yeah, it's
entrepreneurial mindset is like from as a child. That is
as
so
a child.
impressive.
Yeah,
That
as
is
a
so
child.
impressive.
In an environment, that had war, civil war going on, and so many things, were going on. So that's when my entrepreneurial mindset began to actually being cultivated, solving
Mm,
problems. An entrepreneur is in the world to solve problems. I want
mm,
to solve problems in the marketplace, and I also want to solve societal problems. That makes me a
yeah.
social entrepreneur with
I
two
love
with
that.
a
But
double bottom line.
let me go to the question about the revenue. When you
Mhm.
are a social entrepreneur, does it mean that you forego some of the revenue, or do you be invested to do good to society?
It's both, actually. Whatever it works. The structure that I've been building, right? It's global and has purpose in it and has profit in it, both. And I want to
Mhm.
make sure that it's clear. So, I create an ecosystem that actually helped me fulfill both goals at the same time. So it
Mm,
really depends, right? When I was home, I was working in the oil and gas industry. For your audience, if you guys don't know, Angola is the second producer, top second producer of oil in the whole continent of Africa.
mhm.
Nigeria is number one. Angola is number two. Sometimes it's number one, but Nigerians say no, we're always number one.
Hmm.
And so working there, I was, of course, I was offering my skill set, right? And at the same time, I was developing social projects, right? Using, because I was making decent money, I had time to spend, and energy and my heart to give back to the community. So I was
Mm,
operating on both.
mm,
Because I have I'm making decent money. I have money and time to invest into solving societal problems. I started mentoring emerging entrepreneurs,
mhm,
from the skill set that I'm acquiring from my business life as a businesswoman. I'm depositing into, pouring onto the younger generation and emerging entrepreneurs. So it's
mm,
very dynamic, right?
mm,
It's not one thing or the other. It's very
mm,
dynamic. I have to be innovative. I have
Yes.
to be, as a social entrepreneur, I have to be very creative. I
Mhm.
have to adapt. Adaptability is very important so that we
Mhm.
can make things happen and fulfill both goals in terms of profit and purpose.
Mhm. Wow, I love that. I really, and I think you summarized everything about how to be an entrepreneur. There is innovation, there is creativity, there is adaptability. And is it some of the, all of this, it comes from you having started so early. Can someone learn this when they finish studies and then come back and try to learn it? Or is something that you get to be almost feel it from the inside?
Hmm. They say, epigenetics say that we are products of our own environment, right?
Yes.
So what you see shapes who we are. My
Absolutely.
parents,
Hmm.
yes.
Love
So
that.
my father was a Christian minister, and
Oh.
my parents, both of them, were teachers, right?
Mhm.
Elementary school teachers. So these two professions, as a pastor and as a teacher,
As a
you
teacher.
always serving. Yeah, you always giving, right? My mom was, my father was, and both together were serving in
Mm,
church, right? In
mm,
in uh, in Christianity. So
mm,
I saw that all the time.
mm.
It was a normal thing for me to see people
Yes.
coming any time of the day, even
Mm.
like when we're sleeping. Cuckoo, can you pray for me? I said, what? We just pray. We just
Really?
right. And so I saw, the culture of serving, of giving. I
Wow.
grew up in
Yes.
that very culture. And
Mm,
so my parents always supported me as I was doing community work as a
yes.
leader. I actually started much younger than that, doing a lot of,
Because you, yeah, because you've been around that. So it's just a
yes,
natural way of being. It's your environment.
it's my
Wow.
environment. It wasn't, for some people, it's like, oh, I got to do this, I got to make extra. For me, I just grew up in that environment of giving, of
Mm,
serving humanity, of philanthropy. I just grew up in that. And my grandfather, I guess that's where I got it from. He was a businessman. And
mm,
so, it's in my genetics. So I had to combine both at one point, and the
mm,
intellectual also,
mm,
right? Because my parents were teachers.
mm,
So it's mostly, you know, how you were raised, the
yeah,
values that, your family, your parents instill in you.
mm,
And then you just shape it, you work on your craft. That's when you
mm.
go to school. And maybe that's why I did double major, because I was looking for my path. Because
Uh-huh.
computer information systems was like, what am I going to do with this? I need to work
But
with
you
people.
want it
Yes.
today. You're like such, but you are like today is like the thing to know, right? Yeah. So
Yes,
you,
yes, yes. And I learned, and I'm incorporating that into my work, right?
yeah,
The master piece that I'm creating. So everything happens for a reason, and I'm
always.
very thankful for my journey. Yeah.
And what I love about your story is that it seemed that, the focus is about serving and somehow money is always there. You'll always find a way to get money. And it just feels
Yes.
so fluid and easy. And this is the very definition of how you create prosperities. Like you focus on serving, on giving, on providing, and abundance will always be there. What's your relationship with money? Here's we have a
Well,
nice.
it's getting better.
Mm.
It's
Okay.
getting better,
Good.
because growing up in a Christian home, it's good to be poor in a sense.
Mhm.
Not that
Mm.
my parents, I come from I would say, a privileged family,
Mhm.
comparing to, just the different levels of economic um,
Mm.
classes, right?
Mhm.
I wouldn't say that I come from a poor family. So money is a tool. Money is also energy, right? Because I have to be grounded spiritually. So my relationships are based on my spiritual values. So
Mm.
money is energy. Why am I getting the money? For me, is for me to give back. The more I
Yes.
get, the more I give. So
And the more you give, and it's a cycle.
exactly.
I love it. Yes.
Exactly. And then we
Yeah,
change the world. So
we
if we
really
use
do. Yeah.
exactly, if we use money for that, and that's why I'm motivated to make more
Mhm.
money, because I will be able, the change that I'm making and the impact that I'm creating will be greater because now I have money, right, that I
Mm.
can use. I have money that's going to allow me to travel. I have
Mhm.
money to have just a more relaxed lifestyle, right?
Mm.
So it's just a tool, money and I were cool.
You're good. It's like money is good in your hand. And I always say money is good in the hand of women because we do good with it. And you
Yes.
want to become such an easy, beautifully open channel so that you get it to flow because you know
Hmm.
where you put it. And I think, and this is a real numbers. They really have studied that, women, they reinvest in community, in education, in health, in doing good. So we
Hmm.
want to become with ease. And if we use this to rewrite that connection and that relationship with money, it's amazing. And that
Yes,
you can
absolutely.
complement the social entrepreneurship by the ease. The
Hmm.
mission gets funded with the ease of the mission. Mm.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I always operate in four, five eyes: my
Mhm.
identity, the influence, the income, the impact
I love that.
through innovation.
Okay, so influence, income, impact through innovation. And what was the first one?
And
Identity. Yeah.
identity, who I am. Because you
Mm.
cannot build anything if you don't know who you are.
Oh,
So
yes.
I
And if you
work a
pretend
lot
to
of,
be someone else, and if you pretend to be
yes,
someone else, or you copy
e-
someone else, yes.
yes. If
Authentic.
you don't work on your identity, that actually points where you need to go, your identity, right? And then you found everything with innovation, the way you think. So that's
Mm.
just something that came to me. I was like, oh my God, that was a good revelation. And I realized this is how I've been operating um, ever since my childhood.
Wow. I love that. And I think this is so powerful because in your eye, you also have influence because you need to have that ability to influence others, to manage what you do. You need to have the income. So money is there, right? You just don't use the
Mhm,
money for it, but there is an income
mhm.
and you create the
Yes,
impact. Yeah. How do
yes,
you
yes.
evaluate the social impact that you create?
And this is why I'm building a tech tool, right, to help me evaluate, to help me measure, right, and use data to measure the impact I'm creating.
Mhm.
It's called, the tool I'm developing is a software as a service, right? Because
Mhm.
I already provide the service in strategy, impact measurement, business modeling, and things like that. Double bottom line business models. And
Mhm.
so, that question that you're just asking me is the same question I asked myself 2 years
Mhm.
ago or a year ago about, and then I decided to create Impactify, to not
Impactify.
only, yes, that's the name of my startup.
Mhm.
It has been accelerated at Founders Institute in Silicon Valley,
Mhm.
and I'm getting a lot of support from the Silicon Valley ecosystem, right? Entrepreneurial
Amazing.
ecosystem,
Mhm.
with a lot of mentors with a lot of experience, and
Mhm.
their willingness to help,
Mhm.
founders. So it has been great. So that's how I'm in the journey of, measuring the impact I create. I also developed impact thinking, right? That's the philosophy, that's the methodology that I use to measure impact and the journey. I combine it with design thinking, data, data driven, and hyperlocal. So that's essentially the impact thinking methodology that I'm developing that's going to be operational with the tech tool, the SaaS platform. So that's your question. Maybe if you invite me next year, I'll have a few more
Yes.
case studies because it will be
I'm,
on automatic. But
mm,
right now it's very manual because it's not
that's
easy to.
incredible. Of course, it's
Yeah,
not easy. That's why I asked you, because these are
yeah.
the questions that are remains, unclear and insane. There are different ways of doing it, and that
Mhm.
will be useful to you and to anyone that is in the social entrepreneurship sphere.
Yes, yes. And the not just the social entrepreneurship sphere, also for governments, right? The public sector and the private sector as well. And I'll just share an example.
Mhm,
I was working on a project with TotalEnergies, right? It's
mhm,
a multinational, it's an oil and gas industry company that is multinational. It's French,
mhm,
but they're operating in Angola. And one of their main customers is the public sector, because
mhm,
the public sector has a policy that says you're here to make money, but you're here also to create some kind of impact in the society, right? So
mhm,
they have the CSR, the Corporate Social Responsibility Department, and I
mhm,
worked with them to architect, a strategy so that they will be able to measure what they're doing and analyze the social return on their investment.
mm,
You know, we've been, in this for the past 7 to 8 months, and it's
mhm.
very tedious. It's hard to do that
Wow.
because they used to making money, right? Okay, drill the oil, sell the oil, whatever they do there in the oil and gas. But now there is a policy that the public sector is enforcing. You have to show us how you are creating impact with
Mm,
numbers, not just with beautiful, PR stories and messages, with numbers. So, just to say that it's not just the social entrepreneurship, it's also the public sector, it's also the private sector, and then the social sector, all of those sectors. The intersection is actually the social entrepreneurship through those
mm.
strategies that we put in place. Mhm.
I love that. This is amazing. Congratulations. It's quite impressive.
Thank you.
You present yourself as a social entrepreneur, but you're actually a startup, an innovator. It's like a visionary. It's incredible the work you do. I'm always very impressed talking with you, Lucia. Really,
Thank
really.
you. Thank
So
you.
I
I
always
try.
ask,
I try my best.
you are doing amazing. You are an incredible role model to everyone. Like truly. Because to be able to survive between these two different words and yet doing it with so much elegance and ease, it takes a lot of focus and being grounded and merging these two words because you have the advance and you have the tech and then you have the impact that is basic, right? Social
Mm.
development. Mm,
Social development, yes, yes, all of those. And, I'm just thankful, really,
yes.
because I do believe that this is a bigger purpose than me. And maybe that's why I'm able to manage all of these things. And that's why
Yes.
spirituality grounds me, in the values and me working in my own identity as a woman, as an
Mm,
Afropolitan, so to speak,
mm,
in the West and in the continent. I'm
mm.
just thankful because sometimes I don't even know. It's not easy to be a woman.
Of course, I know that really well. Oh my God,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah. So
uh,
we have
beginning when
to,
you are in those spheres, in those areas, it's very hard. Like,
yeah.
and still,
It's,
I think, I felt that since the 90s and early 2000, but things are
mhm.
getting better. We have
Yeah.
to get to say that and recognize it. But it's just not easy. But that's why we doing this. We holding hands with each other. We lifting each other. We elevating together. We celebrating each other's. And I think that's what makes us stronger, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and just talking to you inspires me as well. Just hearing
Mm.
from you, your
We have a
experience.
lot of people here. Here, I'm sharing
Oh,
some
we
of the
have a lot
comments.
of people. Oh,
Yes.
I'm just here talking and drinking my tea. Okay,
Then we
we
have
have.
comments.
Oh,
That's for the anchors and this for the Bravo Lucia for all you're doing and all
thank
you are. Yeah, truly, your embodied strength, grace, and vision. It's a real
Oh,
privilege
wow.
to listen to you. That's sweet. And
Thank
nature
you.
and nurture really does coexist. Thank you, Shishi, for this. Absolutely. So much value. Here we go. So thank you all for being with
Awesome.
us.
Wow.
Yes. So
Yeah.
let's wrap it up with one last
Mm.
question about your own understanding of leadership. So, what does leadership means to you?
Mm. That's a hard question because I'm a leader by nature. You know,
Mm,
um, how the stars are aligned, were aligned in the skies and heavens when I was born.
mm,
As a Leo, I don't know if you believe in that.
I do.
But I've been in that space of leadership since I was a child,
Mm,
right? And so it's hard to find myself inside as a leader. Um, I guess I lost your question in a minute because I had to go back in my childhood. Can you repeat the
to
question again? 'Cause I
remember
was
that you are born, but this is exactly the answer. You are born as a leader. And I
Mhm.
think there is nothing more powerful than that. Leader
Okay.
is born as such. It's your nature, is who you are. And we are all born leaders. It's just sometimes we don't let that leader in us got completely enriched and revealed to the world.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And it takes courage. It takes
It
courage. My
does.
mother, she's a great leader for me, to me,
Mm,
my heroine. She had 8 kids, 4 boys and 4 girls. I'm the last one. Just imagine.
oh,
Yes, I'm the baby of my family. Just imagine the strength, the leadership strength that she had to carry to put everybody, on track.
on
She
track.
raised, my sister, my older sister is a medical doctor, my brothers are engineers.
Wow.
Everybody's like on track, and she keeps doing that, right? And
Mm,
before my dad passed away, that we celebrated their 50th anniversary. You know,
mm,
uh, they were married for 55 years before dad passed
amazing.
away. And
Mm,
everybody was asking, what's the secret? What's the secret? What's the secret?
mm.
And I'm waiting for the leader, of my heart, of my life, my mom, to say what the secret is. And she
Did
said,
she? Did she share it?
yeah, she said courage.
Courage. Yes.
That's it.
That's beautiful. This is a beautiful way to end. Thank you so much. It's all about courage. So leadership to you equal courage. Thank you,
Yes.
Lucia, for this beautiful conversation. Thank you, everyone, for being with us today.
Thank
Bye.
you so much. Thank you.